I'm Dr. Isaac Vigila. Welcome to our Kaunaloa Dual Credit Program Information Session for Spring 2025. Mahalo for those of you who are joining with us live. I will be recording this meeting and sharing it with our Ohana and Haumana who are not able to make our meeting tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started with our presentation today. So to kind of ground us in our work, wanted to start off with our mission here at Kamehameha Schools to help our students develop their OEV edge, which is a strong ancestral foundation that truly shapes their agency, adaptability, and well-being through providing individualized academic and personal experiences to really help our students and our Hamana fulfill their unique purpose and kuleana. Through the Kaunaloa Dual Credit Program, we hope that we are empowering our Haumana to advance their education through taking early college or dual credit courses so that students are earning both high school credit and college credit towards their post-high institutions, plans, and goals. Kumalehua Vincent selected the word Kaunaloa to symbolize the perseverance and determination that our Haumana need, not only to be successful in higher education, but to become our future and next generation of OEV leaders. So through our Kaunaloa program, we truly believe that every Haumana deserves a viable path through college. Through our program, it provides our Haumana individualized pathways. There are many hundreds and in some programs, thousands of different course offerings that our students can actually select from, allowing students to really pursue their passions, interests, especially if we're unable to teach a course or a specific area on ground at Kamehameha Schools Hawaii. Through this process in our program, we hope that our students are also accelerating their learning, earning not only credit for their high school diploma requirements, but also for a potential college degree and to help with their post-secondary goals and plans. A major part of this experience for me personally is helping our students learn how to learn. These are actual college courses that our students are taking and completing. And oftentimes that's also learning how to adjust to college content, college pace of expectations. So hopefully through this experience, our students become more prepared and ready for their post-high experiences. And finally, I think probably the most important aspect for our Ohana here tonight is the potential cost savings that our program does provide. Now, we are happy and proud that our Kaunaloa program covers costs, all costs related to Kaunaloa programs, including tuition, books, and fees. So, in all, this could add up to a lot of potential cost savings for you and your Haumana if they're able to, continue to take courses and complete college courses now as a high school student. The goal really potentially is to shorten that time to degree, to reduce the amount that you do folks have to pay out of pocket for a bachelor's degree, and also potentially even open up space for your Haumana to maybe explore postgraduate work as well. Oh, now data suggests and proves that early college works. Now this is national data. Our personal campus data, I'll show on the next slide, is actually very promising. So out of out of national data suggests that students who participate in an early college program do have a high rate of enrollment. So 84% of students who participated in an early college program did enroll in college compared to 77% of students who did not. They also show that they have a higher 4-year graduation rate and 6-year graduation rate, which means students who are early college students are graduating and actually completing their degree. So our goal for Kaunaloa is not only to get to college, but it's to get to and through. So of this past year seniors, the class of 2024, Onelauena, we have really awesome data right from last year's seniors. So we had 34 of our Onilau'ena members participate in our Kaunaloa program. On average, they completed around 4 courses each per student. Of the 34 students, 97.3% of them actually enrolled in a 2 or 4 year institution after graduating from Kamehameha this year. That small percent is actually only one student, and they're taking a gap year off to save up money to actually enroll in the next academic school year. So in a year, we'll actually be at 100% of the class of 2024 who are Kaunaloa students would have enrolled in a 2 or 4 year school, compared to only 81.8% of non-Kaunaloa students who enrolled. Of the 34 students, they earned a total of 372 units. Now, sounds like a lot. It's because it is. On average, students earned or graduated with around 11.2 college credits, so which is about 3 or 4 courses, 4 to 5. And 6 of our Haumana from the class of 2024 actually graduated with 20 or more units, which could add up, depending on their situation, about a semester or a semester and a half of credits. We haven't done the math. It really depends on the school, but this could add up a ton of cost savings for you and your family. We have excellent stories of some students who are first year enrollees, even at UH Hilo, already starting at sophomore standing. With only a few years remaining, we have a few cases of students graduating through a Kaunaloa program that had 2 years or less of college, because of the number of courses they were able to complete with us as high school students. So our info session tonight will cover kind of 4 large aspects of the program: program expectations for our Haumana, partner information on what our students can actually enroll into. We also have a guest from ASU as well that will be talking about some opportunities for our students here in Hawaii, going over the Canvas course and the application process there, that our students need to complete in order to apply for Kaunaloa either this upcoming summer or fall. So the first resource I'd like to direct you folks to is our Kaunaloa website, and I'll drop my link tree in the chat at the end of the meeting. But our Kaunaloa website is online. It's a Google site, and I do try to update it regularly. It is publicly accessible, so everyone should be able to access it. There's a couple of main links up on the top. Our homepage, our Keala Ika Palapala Laipua, or KAKPL for short, our signature program in partnership with Arizona State University, which is our Pathway to Bachelor's program. Information about registration and forms, support and resources curated for our Haumana, and transcript ordering information for our graduating students. So over the last year and a half, we've kind of created and curated what we call the Kaunaloa Success Pack, which is found under the support and resources website for our Haumana. This includes a syllabus for the program. I recognize this is not a course, but it clearly outlines expectations, study hall expectations, grading policies, support resources, and more. So I strongly encourage that you review that with your Haumana. We also generate a semester calendar that's online on Canvas. Any various forms that you might need for application, for agreements, or course schedule changes, including success resources taken from my friend who was the head of the University of Southern California Learning and Support Resource Center, where we generated support tips and tricks and resources and worksheets for our college students there. I'm sharing that with our Haumana as well. And then lastly, the Kaunaloa Success Plan that's used in certain cases to support students in their experience with Kaunaloa. So the syllabus in general includes some contact information for myself, the website link, a link to my link tree again, which I'll share in the chat, as well as our Instagram handle. Feel free to follow us. We try to update things and post things throughout the year. You can follow us. We won't follow back, but we use it as an alternative way of sharing updates and upcoming events as well. As I mentioned earlier, it includes contact information, expectations, study hall procedures, support and resources for our Homana, our Kaunaloa support program, as well as the grading policy. Um, for our Homana, we truly expect that they're taking ownership in this process. These students will be taking actual college courses, so we want them and we expect them to remain engaged, not only in selecting their partner program, but in selecting courses and keeping engaged and accountable in completing their coursework throughout the program. For some of our students, this might be the first time that they're running into academic challenges. So we asked our students to remain agile and adaptable. And with that, maintaining clear communication, not only with us on ground, their grade counselor, but also with their professor as well. Many of our cases, our partner contacts are very responsive, and very helpful. But we won't know that a student needs help unless they communicate that with us. So part of this process also is working with them on how to advocate for themselves if we run into any issues or challenges. A lot of this process and this program is also self-driven. Students will be working independently without supervision, so they need to be disciplined and focused. In our study hall, procedures, students will be studying in the Learning Center, in most cases on their own. There are structured check-ins throughout the semester, but day to day, they will need to keep themselves accountable. So we ask that students remain disciplined, set clear goals, and minimize distractions while they're in the LC to ensure that they're getting their work done for common law. And then lastly, we just ask our students to remain resilient and curious. As I started off with the meeting, our students have access to hundreds of thousands of courses that many students, even myself as an alum, never had access to before. So, if a student is interested in a really specific subject or specific course, we certainly encourage that. We want them to explore that through any of our partner programs. Next up on the syllabus is the Kaunaloa Study Hall expectation. So, should a student be eligible and I request it and have room in their schedule, we can work with their counselor to actually replace a not required elective course with a study hall period. In this study hall period, your student will report to the LC where they'll be learning and working independently, completing items for their Kaunaloa dual credit course. There are structured check-ins, and students are expected to remain focused in using their time there. Throughout this process, there's also going to be a little bit of self-reflection. Students are encouraged to use resources on ground. We have on-ground tutors, our grade counselors, BHS as well, and of course myself as manager of Kaunaloa. And then lastly, there are expectations in the Learning Center. Students should be adhering to specific guidelines in terms of behavior, space use as well. It is a shared space, so we might have classrooms using the space during study hall time. There are kind of designated areas where students should be studying, um, and also to minimize distractions. There are a number of support resources that we've kind of developed over the last year and a half to ensure that our students are successful in their experience. The first of which is what we call mandatory advising. So about the halfway period of each ASU session, students are required to check in with me through a group advising setting. Through this, we pair returning students with new students. We do round robin check-ins of progress and grades, and then also have kind of a short discussion on, what does it all mean, right? What are best practices? What's working? What's not? And we share that amongst each other. If one of us is running into issues, we try and troubleshoot it together, and support each other throughout this process as well. We also have the Kaunaloa Success Pack. It's available online on the website as well as the Canvas course. So our students always have access. We have a number of resources helping with learning online, study skills, note-taking skills, prioritization, time management, sleep schedule. Feel free to take a look. We have a ton of resources there, as well as our partner programs also have tutoring, access to instructors, and we have our KSH on-ground support resources as well. As I previously mentioned, behavior health specialists. support, Holopono Academic Success Center tutors, our grade level counselors, and also the peer groups, which I'll talk about here. So our peer group program is called Kaunaloa Peer Group. And the idea is that we are pairing returning Kaunaloa students with new students to help them build a supportive network to navigate their experience here. Oftentimes, we find a mixed group of students from seniors to juniors, sophomores, and it's a nice mix so that we can kind of share best practices, what has worked, what hasn't, what our seniors would recommend to our sophomores and juniors, not only about Kaunaloa, but we had some check-ins today, and some items like preparing for senior capstone or other courses came up as well. We encourage our students to also bring up their Kaunaloa course progress in Check and Connect when they're checking in with their Kukoa Kumu as well, so that they're also aware of what our students are taking. And then lastly, through some programs, especially through ASU, they've allowed us to set up course study groups. So even though the work is meant to be completed individually, our students can work collaboratively to kind of navigate assignments or understanding content issues in a course. So students are notified of the other students who are enrolled in that same course each semester. So if they're in the same class period grade, or if they have a friend, they can meet up with them for help and assistance as well. Now, the grading policy is a little different because these are post-high institutions. So we have some access to current grades through our partner programs. We've instituted what's called a midterm grade report or at-risk notifications through our Kaunaloa program. So should a student not be making kind of good progress or not passing their Kaunaloa course, we flag them as at risk, which requires that a student meet with me weekly and provide updates on their course. They also have to complete what we call a Kaunaloa success plan, which essentially is a contract between the student and their support team, their parents, their grade level counselors, anyone else that they might be working on ground, clearly identifying kind of some of their challenges or the issues that led up to kind of their current course standing, and a clear action plan that the student themselves have to develop to ensure that they have a successful experience with their course. All final grades, regardless if they're passed or not, will be reported to the KS transcript. So I do want to stress this, and this is included in the student and parent agreement as well. Should a student not pass a course, the student and Ohana will be financially responsible for that tuition as well. So thankfully, majority of our students are very successful in their classes here. But in the scenario when they are not, students are placed on what we call Kaunaloa probation. So if a student fails or withdraws from a course for any reason, they will be placed on what's called Kaunaloa probation. This is separate from KS academic probation that impacts kind of participation with school events and athletics and so forth. But to return to the program, the student must submit a petition that's reviewed by high school administration, which will provide a root cause analysis of the issue. And again, similar to the academic success plan, a clearly outlined plan for academic improvement. And should a student be reinstated into the program, they are allowed to repeat the course to earn a higher grade, and will use that higher grade on their high school transcript. Now, ultimately, course repeating does differ from course partner program to partner program, so that may vary. For the grade and transcript access, it does differ depending on the partner program, but with a lot of our students who are enrolling in post-high institutions, even though they're considered minors, their academic record is now protected under law under the FERPA, the Family Educational Privacy Act. In order to have access, a student will need to grant what's called guest access to access any grade access from that partner program or post-high program. This allows parents in Ohana or anyone else to view their educational records. We do have limited access to certain things, but we do recommend granting guest access. For ASU, we do have the guest access procedure on the Kaunaloa website under support and resources. Information on how to request a college transcript is also found on the Kaunaloa website as well. Typically, grades or courses with a C or higher are reported and saved on the transcript. And again, that depends on the partner program. So next up are the different partner programs that we offer. Now, I wanted to start off with the first two being our non-college credit partners. Two of these are Coursera, which is an online learning platform, and Global Online Academy, or GOA for short. Coursera is a very large learning platform where students can actually learn on demand on their own time in various career spaces and offers a really exciting and unique opportunity to earn micro credentials. A lot of these are nationally recognized certificates or micro credentials that students can upload to their LinkedIn profile or put on their resume. So for our students who are looking at potentially getting a head start on some of their post-high career training or knowledge or Ike, Coursera is an excellent opportunity. But again, this does not offer college credit. A lot of these courses are might be written or offered by a school, but do not carry a college credit. So if you're interested in that, please check out our website. More information is also included in the Canvas course as well. GOA, or Global Online Academy, is a consortium of different high schools that teach 100% online courses. Typically, these courses are very specific and special and unique to GOA. These courses are normally not taught at a high school level or in most high school institutions, and can include students from around the world. Oftentimes, we've used GOA to fill in high school elective spaces that frankly just are really special and unique, and they're students who have a really cool or interesting interest. So we try to fill in with GOA. And again, no college credit, but do offer excellent elective options. So if you're interested in that, we have the GOA website linked here, as well as more information on the Kaunaloa campus course. The next up, we have our partner programs, our first of which is Arizona State University, or ASU. This is kind of our premier partnership program with our main and newly announced over this last academic school year program called Keala Ikapalapala Laipua Pathway to Bachelor's. Through this opportunity, students can earn up to 60 units of half of that ASU bachelor's degree. So it's an excellent way for students to start working towards a bachelor's degree with a curated list of options in 4 different disciplines. We also have a smaller list of career foundational certificates, which are 4 to 6 course lists if students are really kind of unsure or exploring and just want to kind of get their feet wet before jumping in fully in the deep end of the pool. Really excellent opportunity there. Through HPU, it's probably the easiest method to earn dual credit courses at KSH. Students do need to apply to HPU and are admitted to the program, but our HPU courses are actually taught on ground with our KSH Kumu. So we have criminal justice, which is a year-long course with Dr. Yoakum, as well as a handful of theater courses taught with Kumu Alohi. And we're working on building out that course sequence as well, so expanding potentially some of those theater options. The only thing our students need to do is apply to HPU to create an account and opt in when they start the semester with our Kumu. They complete the course normally on ground, and then at the end of the semester or year, they'll earn college credit through HPU. And then our last kind of college option is through our external Kaunaloa partners. So this includes University of Hawaii at Hilo and Hawaii Community College, also Honolulu Community College. And this is where we direct enroll our students direct into that university or institution. Students could be eligible for Kaunaloa study hall period. Because of the pandemic, a lot of these programs and courses are now taught online and async. However, we've had a few students enroll in synchronous coursework, which can be a little challenging, but if they do meet after our normal school day or school time, students and Ohana will be responsible for transportation to and from the educational site. So with that one, we do need to adhere to any deadlines that those schools set. So if you have if your student is interested in direct enrolling through a local institution, please let us know as soon as possible, so we can get started on that process. So with the external partners, enrollment varies. It can be from a specific course or a couple of courses. We do need to communicate with our partners on ground about the application. Typically, students need to be admitted to that school first, either as an early college or an early admit student. And again, we do need to pay attention to deadlines on those. With HPU, as I mentioned earlier, probably the easiest way to earn college credit that we do offer. All they have to do is take the course here and they'll earn credit. And a little bit more about the ASU program. As I mentioned, we're really excited about the career foundation certificates. So these are stackable certificates, also found online on the KAKPL through Kaunaloa. It provides students a little bit of a pathway. So if what they could do is to start with the shorter career certificate. And should they say, hey, I think I really do like this, I really want to dive into business or health or arts or science, they can take that shorter career certificate and work towards that larger KAKPL pathway that we've set out, which is total 60 units, which is 20 different courses, which seems like a lot, but for a lot of our students who are considering Kaunaloa over the summer, or in the fall or spring, our students have that potential to complete all that coursework. So the goal is if a student were to complete that full 60 units, that could be the equivalent of up to 2 years of courses for them. That will count towards a potential bachelor's degree. And then next up, we actually have Damien Yoshida from ASU Local to talk a little bit more about ASU Local, which is a new opportunity for our Haumana. Aloha, Damien.
Mahalo, mahalo for this opportunity to see you folks. I want to just say thank you for coming this evening, right? It's an important time, in your students' lives. I think across the state, I've been working with different schools, and clearly, KS Hawaii has, as well as the other two campuses, have built out this potential for dual credit very well, as you can see in the results with the class of 24, right? Basically earning just about 12 credits, which in terms of ASU specific, I'll say would equate to a semester worth of courses. And the cost of attendance for that would be approximately $18,000. So I think the cost of attendance is obviously an important factor, for most families when you start talking about higher education and where our students are going to go. This specific program that I'm representing now here is located in West Hawaii. We work out of the Keho Shopping Center. We are virtually the same as ASU in Tempe. As far as what we offer, it is half of what we offer. So they offer over 400, we offer over 180 course, or I should say majors. And all of these courses, we have a couple of different pathways where some students have chosen to stay home for a little bit, save some of that cost of attendance, because the current cost of attendance for our program for a whole year is approximately $15,000. So for $15,000, it's an in-state program here in Hawaii. It's asynchronous. It's going to be something that whoever does enroll in the dual credit program with KS is exactly the same. So all the courses, that your students would be taking at KS is exactly the same courses that we offer here. And I think the key focus here is when they start this process in high school, they really get to try and adjust to the pace and amount of content that they're learning in a shorter period of time. And the one major key there is that they start to build an understanding of the onus being on them as the student and learner, and that deadlines really matter, versus deadlines maybe that they've been able to get extensions on in high school versus in college. With that, as you can see, some of the bullet points, if you just read those, the one thing we do offer as well for financial aid for all students are actually 20% of that annual tuition. So it's a sliding scale based on how many credits they enroll per semester. And that's just basically an enrollment scholarship. So it generally ranges from 2,600 to 3,600, depending on how many credits they take. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to Kumuvajila or myself, and I'd be happy to support you and or your student in any way possible.
Mahalo nui, Damien. I appreciate your time today. Yeah, and working with Damien and ASU Local is certainly an excellent opportunity for students. All of the courses through ASU that our students are taking as high school students are the exact same ones for ASU. We're all the same network, so I think there's some scenarios where if a student wants to stay home, wants to continue with their ASU degree, definitely an opportunity for them here. We have excellent partnership with ASU. So mahalo again, Damon. All right. So next up, basically, is how do I apply, right, to Kaunaloa? For our Haumana, we have a newer application process that we're running through a Kaunaloa Canvas course. All Kaunaloa applicants will need to complete the first 3 modules on the course. All 3 are very brief and meant to kind of walk the student slowly, really through what is Kaunaloa, what are the partners, what courses should I be selecting, and then ultimately requesting the for course enrollment. So, in Module 1, students will be looking overview of the program, the eligibility, the expectations, a brief description of the different partner programs, overviewing the grading policy, the support services, and reviewing the syllabus. And then in order to move on to the next module, they need to pass a really brief 12-question quiz about the program overview. In Module 2, they'll be reflecting on their personal goals and post-sci plans and completing what we call as a Kaunaloa match and fit. So looking at what they want to do post-high, what's the right partner that I should be selecting for that. And as part of that, they also need to upload a completed student and parent agreement form. This is available in the high school front office currently, and I'll have a few copies available at the counselor's office tomorrow as well. This is again an agreement with the student and the parent. For new Kaunaloa students, they also need to obtain a Kokoa Kumu recommendation, and all students, regardless of new or returning, will need to get a counselor recommendation as well. And this is required because the counselor will be the one updating their schedules later if they are approved and requesting a study hall period. All right. So that kind of concludes the Kaunaloa match and fit. We have a new template that's posted on Canvas, but it's a Google Doc, and that will serve as kind of a living document for our students to continue tracking the courses that they've completed, looking at courses that they plan to take, as well as looking at the transferability of these courses. So one thing that's come up over the last few years, concerns from both students and parents about, hey, I'm looking at this school. Will this course that my student is taking transfer? And the quick answer and the short answer is it depends. Now, ASU has designed this program and we partner with them to select courses that are very general, very transferable. But the transfer policy ultimately depends on that school. So as part of the Kaunaloa match and fit process, students must actually look at the transferability history. Some schools call it an articulation history. Look at the courses that they might want to take and make a note of whether it'll transfer or not. Now, as listed in the worksheet, just because it's not listed doesn't mean it's not approved. It could just be no one has tried to transfer it yet. Ultimately, when a student matriculates or enrolls into a college, there's always an opportunity to petition courses for review. So that's also an option that students could have after graduating with us and transferring over into their new school. And it's something that we can help navigate and prepare better for as well. Module 3, lastly, is learning doing a little bit deeper dive in our different partner programs, looking specifically at the different courses and options within that. For ASU, it's looking at, do I want to start with a smaller career foundation certificate and work my way up to the larger pathway? Each module contains, partner program information, as well as the final request is for a course request. So after looking at the match and fit, after looking at the different partners, the students actually have to submit their course requests. Okay, so they'll say, this is the course that I want to take for summer. Then there's a separate link. This is the courses that I want to take for fall as well. Now, the deadline to complete the first 3 modules, the priority deadline is April 1st. As I've shared with the students, if a student submits their request by April 1st and they meet the eligibility requirements, they have a near 100% possibility of acceptance. Now, over the last few years, popularity in this program has scaled significantly. So we're encouraging students to apply as soon as possible, especially to hit the April 1st deadline. There is a regular deadline of May 1st, but admission is not guaranteed. We do have space capacity limitations in the LC, as well as capacity limitations in the different sections of study hall. So there are limits to the students that we can hit or can admit into the program depending on space and space limitations. So again, just to recap, what is required for new students is full completion of Module 1, including that quiz. They have to submit the Kaunaloa match and fit in Module 2, the Kaunaloa agreement in Module 2 with the parent signature, the student signature. For new students, the KUKOA recommendation, and for all students, the council recommendation. And finally, in Module 3, the actual course request, the listing the courses that they plan to take. And then what's optional, and certainly strongly encouraged for new students, is Module 4, which is looking at time management, prioritization, kind of best practices on how to be successful in the Kaunaloa program. So lastly, I'll close with this. Is a link to the link tree. So if you scan this, and I'll drop it in the chat as well, this is my link tree website, which I update throughout the year. With various links depending on what time that we're at. I believe the first link, if you're interested, is a plug for our SAT prep program with Dr. Yoakum. You can fill out the application online. I believe the deadline for that is also April 1st. And then below that, you'll find the Kaunaloa link. So the summer interest form and the fall interest form. If you have students interested, please have them submit the interest form, and I'll add them to the Canvas course. I'll try to add them at the end of the week if possible. So please have them submit the interest form online as soon as possible. So mahalo for your time. I'll stop the recording now, and then